Hello, and thank you for downloading this video. This year, I'm looking at how we can live in a healing way in the world. Last week, I looked at the importance of goals and tried to identify to what is God inviting you. And today I want to follow this up by looking at time, where we spend our time and how we spend our time. Now, I'm going to talk about something that is oh so familiar, and that is the story of Jesus setting aside time to go and pray. I don't know how many times people have preached on this, and it's not that any of what I'm going to say is particularly new. I just think that as we start a new year, it is good to reflect on these things again. The really important thing about Jesus stepping aside and spending time in prayer, spending time re-energizing himself, spending time being connected with God, is his own self-care in the whole process. Always there were people around Jesus wanting healing. Everybody was asking him questions. There was no end to his ministry. And yet Jesus was able to step away and say that he too is important and that he also needs to rest and he also needs to spend time in quiet. How often do we allow ourselves to step away? How much time do we really give ourselves to be in quiet? The places where we spend our time are really the ways in which we show what we think is important, which is why we talk about quality time with our families, because we know that when we don't spend time with our families, we are signaling that it's not actually that important to us. But for most of us, it's not really that we don't think that our families are important. It's more that the other demands feel as though they are more urgent or more critical. We would love to spend more time in quiet. We would love to have more time to go to church. We would love to have more time to spend with our families. But other demands always seem to be so critical and urgent. And this is why the lesson from Jesus is so powerful for me, because he was surrounded by people that critically and urgently needed him to heal them. He was surrounded by people that were desperate for what he had to offer. And yet he was able to say no and step away. He was able to step away and look after himself. And so I think the invitation of healing that we hear in this gospel is that we need to find our strength from Jesus. And that strength is the strength to be able to say no to the endless demands that are constantly being made on us. Demands from work that seem to never end. Demands from family or extended family, or demands from friends. We need to be able to be like Jesus and say, no, now I also need to have time for myself. Now I also need to have time to be quiet or to go for a walk or to do whatever enables you to reconnect with yourself and connect again with God. You and your self-care are just as important as all the other demands that are being made on your time. So often we forget this. We look at how Jesus took care of others, and we demand of ourselves that we do the same. And we forget to look at how Jesus took care of himself and do the same for ourselves. So I hope that this week, as you reflect on this message, you find within it the courage to look after yourself and to make time for yourself to be fed, to be revived, and to rest in God in a new way this year, so that this year can be a year of healing for you as well as those whom you love. Amen.